But I did have some questions for some people coming in who haven't gone into a fat loss phase yet, and they're looking to just kind of set their maintenance calories or even set their macros to potentially go into a fat loss phase. And so I know that we had some questions from Denise and Karen, and they said, kind of, I'll give you a little bit of the gist here. Denise mentioned she's trying to find how to set up her macros and her calories based on her goals. Her main goal right now is fat loss. She said, I'm trying to be keto, low carb, but I haven't been tracking, and I'm sure my carbs have been a little bit too high. So Denise is trying to figure out, like, how do I set my macros and my calories right now with the goal of going into a fat loss phase. And then Karen also mentioned that she's been setting her macros, and she has a question that I'm going to get to next about maintenance and things like that. But she mentioned she's constantly second guessing herself. Does she have the right calories? Are her carbs too high or too low? Things like that. And so the biggest thing that I want to say about this is that in your nutrition manual, there is a section that talks about how to find your maintenance calories. It also talks about gives you kind of an equation to go off of. I talked about this a little bit last week, but the biggest thing to realize is that the most accurate data is going to be the real-time data for you. Like, everybody's an individual. Someone who weighs this, like, there could be two ladies here who weigh the same exact weight, right? Maybe they are the same exact height, but maybe their maintenance calories are different just based off of their activity level, the amount of protein they're eating, the amount of whole foods they're eating, if they've recently come out of a fat loss phase or whatever. There's so many different factors to that. So you are your own individual, and the only way that you're going to be able to find your maintenance range, which is where I always recommend starting out, no matter what the goal is really spending 2 to 3 weeks. If you can't even spend a month, like, this is the thing, the more you can, and I'm not saying you have to spend like multiple months, especially if you have a goal of fat loss and you want to kind of get that ramped up and you want to start that. I'm not saying you have to spend months on end finding your maintenance, but take 2 to 3 weeks to really solidify, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and really track as accurately and diligently as you can for 2 weeks. Track your macros, track your protein, track your calories, and track your movement. Those are the two main things that we need to figure out. And then obviously your scale weight over the course of those 2 weeks and 2 to 3 weeks. That's going to give us the real-time data, like where you're personally at, and things are going to change too in terms of, not everybody's eating the same amount of calories each day. So that's why you want to have this data so that you can put it into your tracker and at the end of the week, look and see, okay, what is my average, right? Because might be some days that you're eating more, there might be some days that you're eating less, but what matters is finding that average, looking at the average of your food intake, the average of your steps, and also the average of your scale weight over the course of that first week and that second week, and then make some interpretations of, okay, this is how many calories I've been eating. This is kind of what the scale has been doing with the averages, right? We want to look at averages, and that's why it's important to spend a little of time. I do recommend like 2 to 3 weeks would be kind of my recommendation, my sweet spot. 2 weeks is fine. 1 week is okay. But 2 to 3 weeks, in the grand scheme of things, it's a very short period of time. But if you can spend that time getting super, super diligent on what you're doing with tracking, finding that, I promise you it's going to pay off in the end.